things happening and how the world is expecting for attaining the sustainable development goals. We are living in a very critical juncture of the economy and the society right now because of COVID-19 crisis last 2 years almost. And at this critical juncture, we have passed the MDG, Millennium Development Goals, and we have entered the another goals of United Nations, that is SDG from 2015. It is a set of goals of 17 goals. And for attaining these goals, the world scenario at this recent changes, the whole scenario has been facing a lot. For this, we are going to discuss and we'll have listening from these resource persons that are joining today. Very first of all, may I request our principal, sir, Dr. Nilakanta Bhattakur, sir, for his welcome speech. Sir.
Thank you, Budhan Soikia. Good afternoon to everyone. Honorable President, Governing Body of Morigaon College, Head of the Department of Zoology, Guwahati University, Professor in Charge, International Relations Office, Guwahati University, General Secretary of Zoological Society of Assam, Professor Jugen Chandra Kolita, sir, Honorable key speakers of this webinar, Professor Nara Katkovic, Croatia, Europe, Honorable Speaker, Professor H.S. Indore, Nagpur University, Maharashtra, Professor V.M. Kadrolkar, Tambour University, Karnataka, respected General Secretary of Indian Economic Association, Professor B.P. Chandramohan, academicians, research scholars, participants, students joining from different parts of our country and abroad, my respected colleague, Vice Principal, Morigaon College, Dr. Hemalata Sharma, IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Ranjit Kolita, Head of the Department of Economics, Paragjyoti Mohanto, Moderator, and my colleague, who is a key person of organizing this webinar, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics of our college, Dr. Budhan Soikia, and the other faculty members of the department. On behalf of Morigaon College, I, Dr. Nilakanta Bhattakur, President of this college, take this opportunity to and the privilege to welcome you all to this one-day international webinar on Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, and beyond, development approach in developing countries during COVID hit period, organized by the Department of Economics. Morigaon College is one of the smallest districts of Assam. It is famous for one-horned rhinoceros, Povitra National Sanctuary, Asia's biggest dry fish market, historic Junbil Mela, Deosal Temple, Lord Ganesha Temple, etc. Culturally, it is a colorful land exhibiting a unique blend of different cultural groups comprising Tiwa, Boro, etc. It has an agro-based economy where agriculture and fishing are the main source of livelihood. Morigaon College, with a history of 57 glorious years, is the premier institute of higher education in the district. Established on 1st July 1964, the college imparts education in arts, science, commerce, computer application, in addition to a number of career-oriented and vocational courses with more than 2,200 students in various disciplines. To promote research culture in the region, the Department of Economics of Morigaon College has been organizing such type of academic activities from its inception. The COVID COVID-19 crisis is hitting developing economics at a critical moment. I sincerely hope that this webinar will discuss the consequences of COVID-19 crisis on financing for sustainable development in low and middle income countries eligible for official development assistance. The level and the trends in domestic and external financing already fell short of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals spending needs prior to the COVID-19 crisis. The current global context, however, risks a significant reduction in the financing available to the developing economics. These concerns have to be addressed. I do earnestly believe that this webinar would prove to be an enriching experience for all the participants and academicians. I deeply acknowledge the participation, cooperation, and the support of all those who deserve the credit of making the webinar a grand success. On behalf of the institution, I sincerely offer deep regards and a heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, Professor Nara Ratkavi, Professor V.M. Kadrolkar, Professor H.N. Indarvire, and inaugurator of webinar, Professor B.P. Chandramohan, for giving us your precious time and coming over for this webinar. Namaskar to all of you. I am also thankful to Professor Jugan Chandra Kolita, who is the president of our governing body, for his special support and encouragement at any time. Finally, I warmly welcome you again and hope that this webinar will be very enjoyable and a fruitful one. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your enlightening welcome speech. May I request Professor B.P. Chandramohan, sir? He is presently the General Secretary of the Indian Economic Association, the prestigious Economic Association of India, with 103-year-old association of the greatest academic body of India. And earlier he was professor of prestigious Presidency College, Chennai, and a noted economist. May I request Professor B.P. Chandramohan, sir, for your inaugural speech of this webinar, sir. Please unmute your speaker, sir. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I still believe the green memories that I visited Morigaon College for a national seminar, and I was there for 3 days. I was there in the very nice college with a very nice people. And last year also I was there for a webinar organized by the college. And I am also today available to serve you for the opportunity of inaugurating this international webinar. And I have to acknowledge the presence of so many luminaries and dignitaries. The speakers, Professor S.H. Induwade from RKM Nagpur University, and he is the professor in head of the university. He is also our joint secretary. And I also welcome the Professor Nadar Ratkovic from Croatia, Professor V.M. Kandolkar of Tumkur University, special address by Professor Jagan Kalita of the college, and above all Bhujan Kumar Saika as moderator, and I think he is a pivot of conducting functions like this, and I also thank him for inviting me for this particular webinar, international webinar. I was fascinated by seeing the topic of this particular webinar, international webinar, that sustainable development goals and beyond. development approach in developing countries during the COVID target period. See, this topic is significant because sustainable development goals are long-term goals for achieving betterment for the humanity. But during the periods of the COVID, we realized the importance of health and health infrastructure. Many towns and cities of India benefited by having good infrastructure, but as far as the poor rural areas are concerned, those people struggle. So this is a lesson for the government and also the academicians to think about and discuss about the issue of the importance of rural health infrastructure for the human development. And again, I would like to, because there are many experts here to discuss about the sustainable development goals and its link or its importance during the COVID affected period. I would like to discuss some of the points related to the evolution of the topic sustainable development, because sustainable development goals, we must know more about sustainable development. So initially, I would like to discuss with you about the linkage of the economy and environment. During the initial period, we thought that, or we have taken economy separate from the nature or from the environment. We thought that the environment is there or the nature is there for to support us. And we also believe that the nature has more carrying capacity, and it is the responsibility of the nature to provide everything for the humankind. And we did not really notice the significance or the importance of the nature or the environment to the economy. But we have included in our economic theories or our textbooks that the linkage between the economy and the in the economy of firm and households. Firms used to take the services of the households in the form of factors, and the firms used to pay for it. And the households used to supply all the factors to the firms. So there is a circular flow. One is the real flow of goods and services, and another is the monetary flow from firms to the households and from households to the firms. So we only studied that. But later we realized that without the nature, the economy cannot perform all of its functions, because the nature is very much linked to the economy. Not only that, the economy is only the subset of the social sector, and the social sector is the subset of the environment or the nature. So people started realizing the importance of the nature and its relationship with the environment. See, environment is very important. You can't imagine even a single commodity or a service without the help of the environment. We can't produce anything without the help of the environment. Environment is supplying everything for the economy, but the economy forgot to realize the importance of the environment. Nature is giving the amenities to the economy. It gives the life support to the economy. It gives the resources in the form of raw materials, and it also absorbs the waste created by the human beings. Usually, the nature used to assimilate or decompose all the household waste. We used to put all the waste in the backyard, and naturally the environment is capable of decomposing it. And when we come to the urban area, the production of the waste are significant. Therefore, we need a clearing system and a disposal system. So that is there. Even then, what the economy is doing, nature is giving all the support to the economy. What the economy is doing, the economy is in turn doing a lot of disturbance to the nature. What are these disturbance? Landscape disturbance, habitat degradation, ozone depletion, solid waste, pollution of different types like air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution and all, and also the contamination. So I just give you the example of water. In the water, there is oxygen. If there is no oxygen in the water because of the decomposition, because the decomposition process takes all the oxygen content in the water. This is called the eutrophication. If there is no oxygen is available in the water, then no living being can exist in the water. So that is the significance of the relationship between the nature and the economy. Now I would like to go a step further, and I would like to discuss with you that most of the economists, especially the social scientists, realized that or gave importance to economic growth. What they thought is that ultimate aim of all the governments and the people are to increase the economic growth. It is compared to that of a cake. If you make a bigger cake, we can share it more among our people. So if we, therefore economic growth is the basic criterion for the economic development. That was the belief we heard earlier. So economic growth is an important aspect or important phenomenon for achieving the economic development. So we, in that process, we forgot the importance of the sacrifice of the nature for the creation of the GDP. What is meant by GDP? The value of all goods and services produced in a country during a given period. How we are producing it? We are producing it by depleting the nature or the environment. So if you make a more cake, that means you are depleting, or the sacrifice of the environment is more. So when we try to make more or produce more, then naturally the depletion will also be more. So not only that, it was the characteristic feature of the developed countries once. Then all the developing countries also realized that we have to improve the standard of living of our own people. For that, we have to increase the economic growth. So there was a competition. Every country wants to become powerful. From the period of Adam Smith itself, he said, wealth of the nation. Wealth is nothing but the power. So here also, all the developing countries compete with each other in increasing the economic growth. That means without realizing because one thing we have to remember, that the environment or the nature is an infinite resource. When we deplete more and more, the stock will be getting less and less. This is the factor. And because of the scarcity of time, I would like to minimize my discussion. And then in the mid of the 20th century, people started realizing the bad things of making more or more economic growth. If all the countries started producing more, what will happen to the nature? Not the social scientists. All types of people started thinking about the future of us. The future of us means, will we get the same thing for our future generation? Or what will happen to the nature? Will we get the same quality for the economic growth in the future? Therefore, people started giving more importance to nature. At the same time, they want economic growth also, because livelihood is important. We have to meet our basic needs of life. So that is there. Then people started giving importance to the nature and importance of the contributions of the nature in the mid of the 20th century. And I will try to give one or two examples. This thought actually started more progress after the publication of The Silent Spring in 1962 by Rahul Carison. So this particular book made a linkage between the use of pesticides and pollution. He therefore criticized polluting the environment is not the right of the people. Polluting the environment means you are adding poison to the nature. So he questioned this. He made a linkage between the use of pesticides and pollution. Thereafter, in 1972, another meeting that happened in the name of Club of Rome, I think the year is 1972, all people of all walks of life joined in this meeting, and they produced a report called The Limits to Growth. That discussion was known as a doomsday debate. And thereafter, the anti-growth sentiments developed. Then the sustainable development term was directly or indirectly used first in the Cocoyoc Declaration, which happened in Mexico in the year 1972. Then 1980, the World Conservation Strategy was presented. These were the developments. Later in 1987, in the Brundtland report, the report gave a definition to the concept of sustainable developments. What is that? The human ability to ensure that the current development meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet its own demand. Therefore, there involves an intragenerational equity and an intergenerational equity. So it was discussed first. This is for the information of the Indians. You look at this definition. Even now, I can give a mark of it can be called as a subjective definition. I can't call it as an objective definition. But Mahatma Gandhi, who died in the year 1948, gave a very good explanation or definition for the word sustainable development. And he said, I will give two quotes of Mahatma Gandhi, and from this you can get the definition of sustainable development. The first quote is that there is enough on earth for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. So the comparison he gave was, what is the meaning of need and what is the meaning of greed? Greed is infinitive, and the need is finite. Then again, he gave another definition that the earth, the land, and the water are not the inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. So we have to hand over to them at least as it was handed over to us. So I think this is a better definition when compared to the sustainable development definition given by the Brundtland Commission. He gives the intergenerational importance of passing over the same benefits to the future generation, as well as he said that it is only for the need of human beings. Nature is not there for the human beings' greed. So he made a wonderful presentation. Because of the time, I am just going to the other. Later in 1974 and after that, so many conferences, so many seminars were conducted under the UNDP and also the UNO. And most of these conferences centered on the sustainability of the sustainability concepts. So during this period, there was two groups were engaged. One group says that human being, you have to put the human being at the center. The nature is for the human beings, and human beings are not for the nature. So this group is called the anthropocentric group. And there is another group so that human beings are one among the living beings, biotics. So whatever the importance the human beings have, the same importance we have to give to all the flora and fauna. All the flora and fauna have the same right to exist in the world like the human beings. Not only that, they are the habitators. We need the atmosphere, we need biosphere, we need the hydrosphere. So all these are very important for the survival of the human beings. So that is very important. Then I would like to go directly to the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals, because here there are many speakers to discuss on this. So I will give only 2 points about these Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals. Millennium Development Goals are 8. It was declared by the General Assembly of UNO in September 2000, and 189 countries participated during this. And I would like to mention that in the Millennium Development Goals, all the goals were centered on 4 important issues. One is health, education, equality, or addressing the problem of inequality, and cooperation for achieving sustainable development. In the Millennium Development Goals, goal number 4, 5, and 6, that is to reduce child mortality, improve maternal health, combat HIV, AIDS, and malaria, are 3 goals out of 8 were directly related to the issue of health. Then I come to the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals are 17. The Sustainable Development Goals were announced in September 25, 2015. 193 countries participated during this discussion, and these are called, the 17 goals are called the global goals, and they fixed 169 targets. And out of this, I feel that goal 3, goal 6, and goal 17 are related to the health issues. So goal 3 is about healthy lives and promote well-being. Goal 6 is about sustainable management of water and sanitation. Water and sanitation are responsible for most of the infectious and viral diseases. Then goal 17 about the revitalization of the partnership among the countries. This problem is not a country-specific problem. This is a universal problem for all these countries should unite to attack the problem. That was the 17th goal of the Sustainable Development Goal. So I think this is the evolution of this problem, and we realize the importance of the sustainable development issues during the period of COVID than any other period. So I think discussion and deliberation by the eminent personalities here will give more attention in comparing the sustainable development goals with that of the health problems, and what shall we do in attacking or creating a world without such problems in the years to come. I stop here, and I also thank the authorities for giving me the chance to inaugurate this international webinar. I also pray that this webinar should end with good suggestions for the humanity, and I thank all the people, especially Dr. Bidan Kumar Saikia, for inviting me for this international webinar. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your really resourceful speech on this particular topic and the great inauguration of our webinar. May I request Professor Jugen Chandra Kolita, sir, Professor Guwahati University, and a leading social and academic worker of this state, and he is known in the state and the whole country as well as abroad. May I request Professor Kolita, sir, for his special speech for this webinar, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Budhen Saikia. I congratulate the Department of Economics, head of the department, Professor Mohanto, all esteemed colleagues. I am really very glad that dynamic principal, Dr. Barthakur, has been working very hard to connect the eminent personality of the world. Today, as Professor B.P. Chandramohan, while inaugurating this particular very important aspect of sustainable development and beyond, he mentioned categorically the strength of India. And I am sure the all eminent resource persons, Professor V.M. Kadurkar, Professor H.H. Indorwade, and Professor Nanda from Croatia, and all gathered, including my esteemed participant friends. We all will be deliberating on a particular issue which has great impact on humanity. So therefore, I do not want to talk because I am here to listen. I am very glad when I was listening to Professor B.P. Chandramohan's address. Very brief, but he was talking everything from his heart, as well as my esteemed friend, Dr. Barthakur, the principal, talk about the importance of the day and importance of our future. India is a big nation. If all of us, we can work together, taking help from the people across the globe, the very important expert like the professor from Croatia who has been joining us. We will be leading in so many spheres in the sustainable millennium goal. Most importantly, the fighting with the poverty as well as education for all. Thank you so much. I wish you a great success. I am delighted to see all of you in a common platform, that is Indian Economic Association, a great body. Finally, I thank Dr. Buden Soikia for his dynamic leadership. Once again, I congratulate the very dynamic Department of Economics of Morigaon College. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Namaskar.
sir. Thank you for your inspiring speech to all of us. May I request now Professor Induruare sir for his speech, the first speech on our topic SDG and beyond. Professor Induruare sir is from Nagpur University, Maharashtra. He is recently the head of the department of this department, economics of Nagpur University. And apart from this, he is associated with so many associations and organizations. He is the Joint Secretary of Indian Economic Association. May I request Professor Induruare sir for your speech, please, sir.
Thank you, Buden sir. Thank you, the organizers, principal of the college, Morigaon College, Dr. Bharat Thakur, today's speaker, Professor Nada Rothvik, Professor V.M. Kadrolika from Tumkur University, then Dr. Jogan Kalitha from Guwahati University, and my friend Dr. Buden Kumar Saikia, all the members and members of the college, faculty members of the college. I congratulate all of you for organizing such a wonderful international webinar on the topic Sustainable Development Goals. I'm just keeping the background of Sustainable Development Goals and how India is progressing into this achieving this sustainable goals since 2015. So what are that 17 goals and how we are doing into it. So just I'm keeping the background of Sustainable Development Goal. So Sustainable Development Goal are a set of 17 goals which are adopted by 193 countries of the United Nations at the historic summit held in New York on 25th of September 2015. So it came into existence from 1st January 2016. The SDGs are expected to stimulate development action in areas of critical importance, such as ending poverty, because throughout the world still the poverty exists and hunger is there. Providing healthy lives, and since 2020 we saw throughout the world due to COVID how the problem arises, and the quality of education and achieving gender equality, providing modern energy, promoting sustainable development, sustainable economic growth, reducing inequality. So many goals were set up, and we have to achieve this until the year 2030. Um, Also known as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The SDGs aim at transferring the lives and livelihood of the people across the globe. So it is widely acknowledged that the success of the 2030 agenda globally will depend to a significant way on the progress India makes on the SDGs front. It is not only because of the sheer size of population, but also because of the strength and resilience of the Indian economy. Further, we can say that India has also emerged as a global leader on the international climate action agenda. After 6 years of the adoption of the ambitious agenda, it is an opportunate moment to evaluate the progress made by the country so far as specific sustainable development goals are concerned. So, based on the SDG India Index baseline report of 2018, which was brought out by the Niti Aayog, an attempt has been made to reflect the progress profile of India goal-wise. So the SDGs for 2030 evolved from Millennium Development Goals for 2015. The MDGs were a set of eight development goals set in the year 2000 with the targets to be achieved by 2015. The MDGs are in fact the first global attempt at establishing measurable goals and targets on the key challenges facing the world. Within a period of 15 years, the world witnessed significant political and economic changes. So as to maintain the momentum created by the MDGs and to take the global development agenda forward, initiatives towards formulating SDGs were begun in 2012, based primarily on the outcome document of the Rio plus 20 20th anniversary of the Rio Earth Summit, titled The Future We Want. The world leaders formally adopted the resolution titled Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, uh, which include 17 SDGs and 169 related targets at the special United Nations Summit held in New York from 25 to 27 September 2015. So, while adopting this, SDGs have formulated keeping in mind the growing realization that problems relating to development are no longer limited to national boundaries, but rather increasingly become global in nature. What happens in one country influences the other, whether it is the poverty or environmental degradation. All these issues are becoming transboundary in nature. Thus, the essential philosophy of the SDGs is based on the interconnectedness of the global problem. A core feature of SDG is in fact that focus on means of implementation. The mobilization of financial resources, capacity building and transfer of environmentally sound technologies, as well as data and institutions. Thus, separate means of implementation targets have been included under each of the goals. Review of monitoring have been accorded special priority in SDGs so as to track the progress of developmental goals and targets. The United Nations resolutions underlines the importance of follow-up at the national, regional, as well as global levels. The global indicator framework of 243 indicators have been developed for evaluating the progress of SDGs at the global level. The high-level political forum on sustainable development has also been established. It has a central role in the follow-up and review of the SDGs at the global level and also provides further guidance. Uh, Now we'll try to find out what is the India's role in formulation of goals and targets. So, as a member of Open Working Group constituted for preparing a proposal on the SDGs, India advocated the concerns of the developing countries. India emphasized on the priorities for lifting vast number of people out of poverty through rapid and inclusive economic growth. It has also maintained that while a lot of work has already been done for infrastructural development, taking development to all sections of society still remain a massive challenge. These challenges continue to be faced by all the developing countries across the world. India took the position that SDGs has to be the agenda for development. And for that, let us see some of the based on identified by the Niti Aayog and out of 306 national of statistics and program implementation. Index baseline report 2018 was brought out reflecting the progress profile of different individual goals. Measure goal-wise progress primarily based on the outcomes of the inter.
ಹಾ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹಾ ಕೊಡಿ.
However, evaluation of only 13 SDGs out of 17. Progress on SDGs 12, 13 and state level data could not be processed by the time the report was prepared by the government of India or Niti Aayog. A composite score has been computed based on the performance towards achieving the goals and respective targets on a score ranging between 0 to 100, being the lowest and 100 being the highest. As per the SDG index score, with the target of 100 to be achieved, the national score is 57 at present, or we can say in 2018. The performance of the state ranges between 42 to 69 and that of union territories from 57 to 68. Among the states, Kerala and Himachal Pradesh are the front runners with the score of 69. Among the territories, Chandigarh is the front runner. Based on their performance, the state and the union territories have been categorized as performance, front runner, and aspirants. So let us go the performance of all the 17 goals one by one. Goal 1 is concerned to measure India's performance towards no poverty. 5 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 3 out of 7 SDGs targets for 2030. The 5 poverty committee estimates. Then health insurance coverage. Third, persons provided employment through Manrega Act or some other act. Then maternity benefits. The index score for SDG on poverty for India, and the score ranges between 37 and 76 for the states and between 21 and 61 for the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are the best performance among the states and as far as first goal is concerned. Then second goal regarding the zero hunger. To measure India's performance four national level indicators have been identified which capture three for 2030. The four national indicators are household covered under food subsidy, that is through PDS system, then stunting children under 5 years of age, then anemia among the women, and the fourth one is agricultural productivity. So based on these four indicators, the Sustainable Development Goal Index score on Goal 2 for India stands at 48. And this scores ranges between 35 and 80 for the states and between 38 and 72 for the union territories. Goa and Delhi were the top performing among the states and union territories. Let us move to the performance on Goal 3. To measure of good health and well-being, the five national level indicators have been identified, which capture 4 out of the 13 SDGs targets for 2030. These are under 5 mortality rate, then immunization coverage in children, then tuberculosis incidences, and the fifth one is health workforce. Based on these 5 indicators, the SDG index score on goal 3 for India stands at 52, and the score ranges between 25 and 92 for the states and between 23 and 66 for the union territories. Kerala is the best performing among the state and Puducherry among the union territories. Fourth goal is concerned to measure India's performance towards the goal of quality education. 7 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 2 out of the 10 SDGs targets for 2030. The 7 indicators are enrollment ratio at elementary level, second, students proficiency in class 5, third, student proficiency in class 8, then children out of school, fifth, dropout rate at secondary level, then professionally qualified teachers, and the seventh one is the pupil teacher ratio. So based on all these 3 indicators, goal 4 for India stands at 58, and the score ranges between 36 and 87 for the states and between 46 to 85 for the union territories among the states. Again, Kerala is the top performer in the states and Chandigarh among the union territories. Moving to goal 5, to measure India's performance towards goal of gender equality, 6 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 4 out of 9 SDGs targets for 2030. The 6 indicators are sex ratio at birth, wage gap between male and female, domestic violence, women in leadership, ratio of female labor force participation rate, and the last one is family plan. Based on these 6 national indicators, the SDGs index score on goal 5 for India stands at just 36, and the score ranges between 24 and 50 for the states and between 27 and 58 for the union territories. Kerala and Sikkim state are on the top, and Andaman and Nicobar Island and Chandigarh among the union territories are the performance category under goal number 5. Moving to goal number 6, to measure India's performance towards clean water and sanitation, 5 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 3 out of 8 SDGs targets for 2030. The 5 indicators are safe and adequate drinking water in rural areas, toilets, open deficient free districts, installed sewage treatment capacity, annual groundwater withdrawal. Based on all these 5 national indicators, the SDGs index score on goal 5 for India stands at 63. And the score ranges between 31 and 100 for the states and between 45 and 100 for the union territories. Among the states, Gujarat have achieved a full score of 100. The same score is shared by Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Lakshadweep among the union territories. As far as goal 7 is concerned, to measure India's performance towards achieving the goal of affordable and clean energy, 3 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 2 out of 5 SDGs targets for 2030. The 3 indicators are percentage of household electrified, household using clean cooking fuel, and renewable energy. Based on these 3 national indicators, the SDGs index score on goal 7 for India stands at 51. Among the states, Tamil Nadu, Mizoram, Karnataka are the top performance on this goal with a score of 89, 78, and 77 respectively. Among the union territories, Chandigarh fares the best score with 96. Let us move to goal number 8. To measure India's performance towards decent work and economic growth, 4 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 3 out of 12 SDGs targets for 2030. The 4 indicators are annual growth rate of GDP, unemployment rate, bank access, ATM coverage. Based on the 4 identified national indicators, the SDG index score on goal 8 for India stands at 65. And the score ranges between 33 and 90 for the states and between 60 to 91 for the UTIs. Among the states, Goa is the top performer and the Daman and Diu among the union territories. Moving to goal number 9, to measure India's progress towards the goal of industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Again, 4 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 2 out of 8 SDGs targets for 2030. The 4 indicators are road connectivity, mobile teledensity, and then internet density, Gram Panchayat covered under Bharat Net. Based on these 4 identified national indicators, the SDG index score on goal 9 for India stands at 44. 72 and between 0 and 100 for the union territories. The union territories of Delhi and Puducherry are the achievers of this goal as they scored a full 100. To measure goal 10, India's to reduce inequality, 5 national level indicators have been identified, which capture 3 out of 10 SDGs target for 2030. These 5 indicators are urban inequality, ratio of transgender labor force participation rate, scheduled caste fund utilization, scheduled tribe fund utilization. Based on these 5 national indicators, the SDG index score on goal 10 for India stands at 71, and the score ranges between 38 and 100 for the states and between 52 and 100 for the union territories. The achievers among the states are Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Telangana. And among the union territories are Dadra, New, and Lakshadweep. To measure India's performance towards sustainable cities and communities, 4 national level indicators have been identified under Goal 2 out of the 10 SDGs target for 2030. These 4 indicators are houses completed under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, percentage of urban household living in slums, then door-to-door wastage collection, processed. So based on these 4 national indicators, the SDG index score at just 39. So in some of the indicators we are scoring good, but some of the SDG index scores are very less. So under this goal 11, the score ranges between 20 and Andaman and Nicobar Islands among the Union Territories. For Goal 12 on sustainable consumption and production emphasizes on doing more with less, thereby ensuring that the needs of the present generation are fulfilled without compromising the needs of the future generation. This goal emphasized promoting resource efficiency, green economy, and sustainable infrastructure. It also focuses on reducing degradation and pollution through most populous country in the world is home of about 17.5% of the world population with a merger of 2.4% of the world area. This makes it necessary to have a comprehensive policy framework efficiency, reduction in waste and pollutant activities, and adaptation
Please,
of technologies focusing on
sir.
renewable resources.
Endurance, sir, please summarize.
Moving to the SDG 13, Goal 13 on climate change.
Summarize, sir,
And,
please.
just within 2 minutes, I've finished.
Okay, within 2 minutes, please.
Yeah. So moving to this 13 climate change, it aims to integrate climate change measures into national policies and strategies. And it also further aims to plan and promote mechanisms for raising capacity for effective climate change related planning and management. Goal 14 commits countries to conserve and sustainability use oceans, seas, and marine resources. It focuses on preventing marine pollution, ending practices, and sustainability managing and promoting marine and coastal ecosystems. 15 to measure India's on life on land. 4 national indicators have been identified which capture 3 out of the 4 indicators are percentage of total land area covered under forest, then decimal change in the extent of water bodies within forest, change in forest area, and population of wild elephants. So based on these 4 national indicators, the SDG index score on goal 15 for India stands at 90. So this is the only goal where we can we are scoring more than 70. And among the states, 43 to 100 ranges and 50 to 100 for union territories. The achievers are Assam, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Manipur, Odisha, Uttarakhand among the states, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Lakshadweep among the union territories. For performance 16, again, 6 indicators have been identified.
It is not audible, sir. Please, it is not audible. Not audible, sir.
Hello.
Okay, okay, yes.
Is it audible now?
Yeah, right, right.
Okay, so I'm moving to the last goal, that is goal 17, which aims at strengthening the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. So let us see by 2030 how much goals we can achieve. Let us hope for the best, and we can definitely say that as compared to Millennium Development Goals, we can achieve Sustainable Development Goal by 2030. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to the college for inviting me for this international webinar. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, sir. You have explained very insightfully regarding the goals, sustainable development goals, all the 17 goals, and how India is achieving in a manner so that we can complete the goals within 2030. Thank you very much, sir, for your resourceful and thought-provoking speech. Thank you very much. Now may I request our second speaker of today's international webinar, Nada Redkovic Madam. And she is from Sins Split, Dalmatia County, Croatia. And she is expert in economics and mechanical engineering. And moreover, she is expert in tourism Split. And she was awarded the Teacher for Teacher Award in Croatia. She has completed many projects, namely the EU projects, STEM projects, Arsemas projects, e-twinning projects, and she's working in the specialized fields like statistics, ecology, sustainable development goals, STEM, entrepreneurship, innovation technology, and she is also an activist in the field of education, and she has been awarded so many awards in her own country and in global platform. And she is also closely associated with NGO movement. She has won many diplomas, certificates, medals, and recognitions for her national and international achievements. In 2018-19, she received university recognition for Academy Book. In year 2018-19 and 1920, she was chosen as one of the best educational workers in Croatia at the Ministry of Science and Education. Moreover, in 2021, she achieved the award of International Award for Excellent Work from the Association for Education and Assistance to People with Health Problems. She received EduConclave Award 2021 and many others. Very briefly, I am speaking about her. Now, may I request Madam Nada for her speech on today's webinar, SDG and Beyond. Madam.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Budhain Seika. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you on your invitation. So, greetings from Croatia. Like Mr. Budhain said, yes, I'm a professor, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, trainer, researcher, and many of that. Today, my topic is SDG and beyond development, development approach for developing countries in this COVID period. Yes, we here all are witnesses of this hard period before, now, and what we can expect in the future. So I'm coming from Croatia, a beautiful country in Europe. My country is part of European Union, but before we have a country called Yugoslavia, ex-former Yugoslavia. There were 6 countries, Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, Serbia, and after war, we became a unique country. Croatia's country profile is next. According to the European report, Croatia is one of 3 countries which have the cumulative share of damage for GDP from weather and climate events. We have here a beautiful nature, a big Adriatic Sea, many lakes, many rivers, and many mountains. So here, our economic politic is that the recognized is need and needed to take a strategic approach to make adoption. It means for whole 17 goals adoption, but the necessary is SDG 13, buying by climate action. So we have in Croatia adopted the climate change adoption strategy, and what we make. We submitted a voluntary national reviews from 2019. So strategy until 2030 is the basis, like implementation of United Nations 2030 agenda in Croatia. Like a country, we will invest. I can't say that we are a big developed country, but comparing with others, we are developed and going development every day more. We will invest 4 to 6 billions in renewable energy. That I means on SDG 7 by 2030. Also, a big focus is environmental dimension, primarily on SDG 3, 6, 7, 9, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So what we do? We first, in Croatia, established a big information system for strategic planning and for development management. And it is really in the progress. Also, what data we use? In Croatia, we have our Croatian Bureau of Statistics. And he is designed how he is a model and have a database for United Nations portal, SDG. We called it SDG Knowledge Platform, and there we share results about SDG, like in a European database. What else to say? So we really have politics, economic politics that from 2015 uh, we uh, we are taking care about it. Like colleagues said before, also SDG index and dashboards with combinations with many other official data and indicators. I will say a little later about that. Now, what make a little thing on education on SDG4. All of us here are economics, and all of us here are educators. Like all other SDG goals, uh, they are important, but I think that quality education is the first. So I think that everybody and quality education is the prime tool for every child on this world. And what it means, we means on children in non-development countries, we mean on children who has physical or some emotional disabilities. And what we must do, we must help our kids, teens, youth, students all over the world. I think that is our mission, our first mission, and it is inclusive and equitable quality education. And here today, we are also what doing? We are promoting lifelong learning opportunities. If I am not going to educate myself, how can I teach others? How can I be in high school? How can I be on faculty and university and talk with my students? Either it is vocational training or another training, we must take care most about SDG goal 4. Here, I have I will not talk about all 17 goals partial, but I here have a little example. And from that example, we can make a compare with living in towns, living in villages, and what it means. Town, if we say a word town, we can say that is a big development country. And if we say village, we know that in villages, the life is more harder. But I am working on one big project about e-villages, and here I will give some conclusions, some aims of that goal, and why I think that is important with SDG. Every goal, every of 17 goals are here included in this project. So what would I say? We need all. So I said comparing with developed countries and non-developed countries. We rethink the accepted concepts of smart cities and villages. How? We must involve technology and technology solutions. Yes, everybody say today technology is important. Nothing we can do without technology. It is true. I'm a STEM teacher. I adore technology. Every work, every day, I use many digital tools. But I think that our world in our classroom, info lab is more important because we can, in that situation, feel our students. When one student or one child look at you, I know from his see what he is thinking, and I think that's a more easier way to learn. But here in my project, there is a concept, I mean a framework, and four essential futures: community, village, city, and sustainability. Community, we know why community is necessary. Village, I said before, city also, and here we are with SDG, sustainability of the whole topics. Uh, Instead, that we suggest a social sustainability, appropriation, and effectiveness of new solutions in long term. We're not talking about the short term, no, but long term. The process must be adapted. What are the main three dimensions of smart living? We need energy, we need mobility, and we must think about the waste and how can we do it? We can do it through the prism of rural urban linkages and the role of ICT. Yes, core principles and recommendations. What I mean: technology, community, size, identification. We need leaders, so we are leaders, and many other solutions. We must have also communities. We must combine findings of our engineering, our social science, and what I mean especially on psychology, sociology, and anthropology. That is more necessary for this. So the idea of that way of sustainability is on the vision of future and has many global, national, and regional development agendas. Many agendas. Also, it is addressed on United Nations, and this document, I think that we will get it very soon, and then we will know what are our other steps to act. So the agenda with 17 sustainable development goals, we make a little formulation in that agenda. I hope that maybe next time will when I will be invited, that we will have that solvent agenda with a little transformation. And I think that it will be a big success for my faculty, for my country, if it if the United Nations accept that formulations. Uh, what is important also, we must put attention on empowerment and every individual and on community. Also, what is first? First, we must start understanding uh, what is technology scaring, what it means. Maybe we can stop serving many tools for living conditions, and others. Secondly, is for economy, for the level of authorities and economy, and the focus must be the attention to actual needs on the community and the results of advance. What is the project about? Smart Village is a concept and innovative new product. Rural communities are refused to wait the change to happen to them. In what fields it is involved and illustrated in many fields like rural services, sustainable mobility, renewable energy, circular economy, social innovation, urban-rural linkages, agriculture, and food, environment sustainability, digitizations, and everything in that smart village. That is why I say at the beginning that we are involving all 70 SDG goals. Uh, what uh, so what are rural areas? We all know the definition, and they are the villages where we live now will rapidly make changes, and we know that now we have depopulation, poor quality services, and not a good life in villages. For 21st century, we must define the base key drivers who will make changes. What it includes? It include the low carbon, circular economy, bioeconomy, and new values chains must go on. We make our research about quality of life in communities and migrations. What is the main for this research? The goal is to investigate how are people satisfied in that rural parts of countries, and the main question is to stay in town or to live in the rural area. We have a big sample. We have a big sample. We do it for more than 10,000 people. Yes, it is only for my country, but we first must start from our domicile country and then spread on Europe and spread on global. We first must get some conclusions to act. How the respondents answer. About 20% of the responses are not satisfied with conditions of rural life and they have intention to leave. That is something that we really and accepted. How we make ratings? Unsatisfactory, satisfactory, good, very good, excellent. The assessment of living conditions was evaluated like a set of 13 statements. We make 13 statements and we make conclusion by these 13 statements. In total, what is the average age of the respondents? Average age is 33 years. And I think that is the part of population who is today more important. Why? Because that are people who finished university and people who start works and have some and have experience and see what is happening around us. This was made by SPSS program. And what are the statements? The question, interpersonal relations, supply of groceries, housing conditions, home houses and yards, traffic connections, utility infrastructure, health service, condition of public areas, education, financial and other services, social services, employment opportunities. So, do you see the employment opportunities? I see, because what? In our village, we will have everything. But people don't understand that. And also a professional job. Two important things are living in a rural community: the quality and objectivity, and also how information to compare, is it better to live in the city or in the village. Most of our respondents have had a chance to see and feel it, because uh, they have a chance to migrate between rural and urban areas. So most of us, in Croatia, I live in one town, a little town, and the first biggest town is split 36 kilometers from my house. But I live in a town, and around me are many, many villages. There nobody don't live, because everybody who goes to study in Split, in Croatia, or in Europe, in USA, never come back. Advantages and disadvantages. There are many advantages and many disadvantages. So if we look the sample, their answer, 41 percent of respondents are mostly satisfied. So that is a good indicator to continue on the greeting. Uh, I will not talk now about the all advantages and disadvantages. Maybe disadvantages. If we compare the living area, uh, what is here important? Uh, Lack of entertainment and culture events, and fewer opportunities for economic, political, and educational development. Not, it means a lack of that. In big towns, we have that. Living also is working all day long. Why? Because living in the village really needs a whole day working. Major problems. What are major problems here? Uh, After the questions: low standard of living, poor conditions, poor social life, poor traffic services, poor interpersonal relations, poor infrastructure utilities, and no job opportunities. Mostly percent and response of our responses is poor infrastructure, 30%, and no job opportunities, 27%. So our results of the survey uh, indicated that the innovation of that village is the best solution for what? For solving essential hardships of rural livelihood related to economic issues, such as I said, job opportunities, limited professional selection possibilities, and lower income. Yes, lower income, more lower income. And I said at the beginning, what are the set goals to be achieved? So all goals are all 17 SDG goals. Sustainable mobility, renewable energy, bioeconomy, no poverty, every of our SDG are included. What for me, this is a really big research, but I'm trying to find the most important things. So I will say this. The survey results indicate hardships of rural livelihood and they are related to economic issues. The situation is additionally worsened by poor economic position of agriculture, which is clearly reflected in strongly expressed permission of active farmers. The perception of quality of life in rural area is affected by dissatisfaction of the respondents with social and health services and with poorly development infrastructure. The respondents are aware of advantages of rural compared to urban livelihood and life in natural settings with less pollution, better social ties, and less crimes. Also, exodus of rural population could only be prevented by increase in employment opportunities and in income and development of infrastructure. Uh, the facts presented uh, are indicated the next. Need for creation of a uniform regional development policy since the situation in underdevelopment rural areas is dramatic. Depopulation of these areas needs to be stopped for economic, strategic, and human reasons, and the key role is to play by step. Yes, that is our role. That is our role of us, economics, and we must act, we must show everybody at our ministry, in our politics, that how worse is the situation and how hard we are living today. Uh, so there must be economic growth and increase of standard living in all areas, especially in rural areas conditions, and that
Sound is not coming, madam. Please unmute your.
She has to be unmuted.
Yeah, she got muted, I think.
do you hear me now? When
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
from
Okay,
when was I unmuted?
Just a few minutes. 1 minute, madam. Just 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, really
Okay,
sorry.
no issue, madam. No issue.
Okay, I'm soon at the end. So 1/5 of the respondents expressed dissatisfaction with the conditions of living. The alarming indicator is that the age group between 25 and 45 years means that the population which as a role finished educated and start a family. The largest number of potential migrants is from economically underdeveloped countries of Croatia and others, and most of them are employed farmers. Potential migrants find lack of job opportunities as the major disadvantage of living in rural area. So, major advantage of living in a city, according to this opinion, are better employment, opportunities, and the possibility of earning, having a big revenue, big income. But here, I will continue working on this, doing this in my country and also in other countries. So further depopulation of Croatian rural area uh, would be dramatic and had dramatic effects if we economics and politicians don't act. So it will be excessive urbanization of large cities, insufficient utilization of special production of human resource, and loss of traditional values. We will lose all our traditional values, habitats, everything what we have. And experience must be during these years for the generation, for the next future of the generation, and it must be implemented. I'm now talking like a European citizen. It must be implemented in all regional development policies in European and also in other countries and also in India, in your country, and we all must get and finish our better solutions. What I mean better, the solutions what will be successful for all of us. So I think that I said through this my presentation, through this my talk, what for me is the importance of sustainable development. What are the basics of technology and sustainability? How modern advancements and connectivity can help us? How to achieve the SDG goals? Why should we all care about the SDGs? Either we are university, an individual, or a big corporation. So I will finish now, and I will make a few answers that all must a few questions that all of us must have answer. So, what is the importance of SDG? How to achieve SDG, and how could technology help? How could we? How could today? Are you thinking about how is necessary RAE, artificial intelligence? So there, how technology is growing, our problems are growing. So I said we must act, all of us in 195 countries must act and achieve the agenda of United Nations. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. You have very pinpointedly explained all the issues regarding sustainable development and how all the countries have to work together. And you have given importance on the issues like technology, artificial intelligence, and all these recent issues. And I think so many questions will come to you, but we have another speaker, Kadrolkar sir is there. And after his speech, we'll go to the question answer session. And now may I request, thank you, madam, for your very good and resourceful speech.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Bhuvan.
and
Thank you
it
very
is
much.
one kind of, thank you, madam, linkage between India and Europe. Through your speech, you have very beautifully explained the relationship and how all the countries have to do one inclusive manner for solving the problems regarding sustainable development goals. Thank you very much. May I request right now Dr. Vilas M. Kadrolkar sir. He is a professor of Tumkur University, and he is an academician, researcher, and an activist. And he has the experience of 18 years of teaching and research. May I request Kadrolkar sir, Vilas and Kadrolkar sir.
Okay, good afternoon.
May I
Am I
speak, sir?
am
Yeah,
I
yeah.
audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, please go on.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Respected organizer, Leela Bhatankar sir, PB
For having
Chandraman sir, Professor Jogan Kalita sir, Buden Kumar Sakia sir, speaker, Professor S.H. Chindurwadi, Professor Nada Ratkovia from Croatia, and other delegates from India and other parts of the world. I'm indebted and happy to be in this particular international webinar on sustainable development goals beyond and development approach in the developing countries during COVID hit period. And now I am going to have the PPT presentation. For that, I request all the delegates to click on the three dots, vertical dots, where we will get the more options. You have to click on this. You will find out the change layout platform, where in that you have to click on the spotlight. Then you will get the clarity with regard to the PPT. I will close my video and I will speak with the audio and I will go for the PPT presentation. Is the PPT visible, sir? Hello?
Yeah, sir, visible, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, sir.
visible, sir.
This basic information, the my topic for this particular session is that impact of COVID-19 on India's sustainable development goals and overview. And this is my details there. Here, I once again welcome you to this particular webinar. Now, I will start my presentation with an small clip. Okay, I hope it was clear to bit because it was not full. Okay, I will start with a basic introduction. Almost 2 years in the global pandemic, and the virus has the world into the crisis of unprecedented scale, and it is a historical global recession. We are in the historical global recession kind of situation. COVID-19 has demanded a modification in the way of life of the people across the globe, which may be the new normal life. Henceforth, we have to change our way of living. That may be the order of the day. The impact on the society is unclear. Right now, we are not having the clarity with regard to what exactly the impact of this particular COVID-19. It is going to be a long-lasting and difficult to measure. The overreaching of the leave no one behind. This is the objective of the major objective of the sustainable goal is threatened by the current growing inequalities. On the contrary, there is a positive side of it because the planet and the partnership has been improved. That is what we can say. India, with regard to India is concerned, it is the second most populated country in the world and fifth largest economy in the world. And because of this particular reason, the world is looking at India's sustainable development goal achievement. India's achievements of the sustainable development seems to have taken back seats in this particular time of crisis. We are not able to do well in this particular during this COVID-19 period. The response to the pandemic cannot be delinked from the SDGs. SDGs are not different, and the policy towards the solution for the pandemic is not different. We have to link both of them, and together policy has to be framed. The pandemic has reinforced the connectivity between the health, environment, and the economy, and this is what we are finding here. Then now we'll have the overview with regard to the sustainable development. It has been already mentioned, but I am briefly mentioning about this. The sustainable development goals they are replaced the Millennium Development Goals, which were started from 2010 to 2015, and the base year was 1990 was the base year, and we are in case of Millennium Development Goals, the world or the global economy was not able to make an achievement so far. Then we want to replace that particular Millennium Development Goal, and that is why we have this particular Sustainable Development Goals. This United Nations on 25th of September 2015 adopted the document called Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, consisting of 17 goals and associated with the 169 targets. Each target has the more than one indicators. Right now in India, we have 308 indicators that specify the quantified metrics to measure the progress towards these particular targets and overreaching goals for the ensuring that no one is left behind. This is the front line of the sustainable goal. The sustainable development goals came into force from the 1st January 2016. And here the sustainable development goals are the blueprint to achieve a better sustainable future for all accomplished by the 2030. 2030 is the date through which we are supposed to achieve it. Then these are the 17 sustainable goals. I'm not going to read each one of them because it is clear, I believe, and it has been mentioned by the Indru. When sustainable development goals are not legally binding, they are not legally binding on the countries, those who are adopting it, but have become the de facto international obligation for the 15 years. They are the obligation on the countries, those who are adopting it. Then there are 193 countries, but 169 countries have adopted it. Then countries are expected to take the ownership. Countries themselves, they have to take the ownership for the achievement of these particular goals and establish the national framework for achieving these goals. Sustainable development goals are only guidelines given by the UN national and monitoring tools to orient and assess the national development process. Implementation and success is solely rely on the country's own sustainable development policy, plans, and programs. Here, that is the reason why they are just guidelines. They are not legally binding, but it is up to the country to take the decision with regard to the implementation of the sustainable goal or achievement of the sustainable goal by 2030. The Millennium Development Goals, which failed to prioritize economic growth and physical infrastructure development, that is what I was mentioning about the Millennium Development Goals, are not that much successful. But Sustainable Development Goals basically lay stress on these particular social and human developments, and it is not possible without them. Hello? Okay. Sustainable Development Goals can be divided into 4 major goals. Hello? Please mute yourself who is talking. Here, the Sustainable Development Goal can be divided into 4 different biosphere, where 15 and 14 and 6 and 13 are coming. Then for the society, we have 1, 11, 16, and 7, and 3, 4, 5, and 2 such goals. Then for the economy as such, 8, 9, 10, and 12, these are the economic goal, and 17 is the global partnership goals. This can be divided like this. Then when you talk about the sustainability goal, it has a dimension which has economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. They come together. We are going to achieve this. And there are 6 transformation. Transformation 1 is education, gender inequality. Transformation 2 is health, well-being, and demography. Transformation 3 is energy, decollaboration, and sustainable industry. Then 4th is sustainable food, land, water, and oceans. Sustainable 5th is sustainable cities and communities, and 6th is digital revolution and sustainable development as such. Then implementation of sustainable development goals in India. Briefly, we will have the overview here. Here, India is a country with 1/6 of humanity. 1/6 of the total population is in India, and India is a world on its own, and that is what we are considering. That is the reason why India's achievement on the sustainable goal is going to be important for the global economy as such. India is a land of the many contradictions and disparities, where the poverty and prosperity together coexist, and excessive food production, but there is a hunger in the economy as such. The India is world's largest democracy, but it is the largest number of hunger people in the world. They are in India. And largest number of children malnourished among the world are in India. This is what the contradiction I was mentioning about. The Sustainable Development Goals have provided the missing development framework. That is, in the Millennium Development Goals, there were missing links, and that is which were very much needed for the India. That is why Sustainable Development is very important for the India to implement in total. Niti Ayoga, National Institute for Transforming India, has been entrusted with the task of coordinating the sustainable development goals in India, along with state governments and the local governments. They are going to help to this particular achieving this particular goal as such. Now I am coming to the main topics of my speech, that is impact of COVID-19 on India's sustainable development goals. Before moving on to this, the world's progress on this particular chart shows that up to 2019 it was a steadily increasing progress, but from 2019 to 2020 it is a sharp declining. You can find out this particular thing. When the global economy is facing such kind of situation, then Indian economy is going to have that particular situation. Definitely we will just find out what are the things we have done. Then with the case of India, the COVID-19 pandemic is the setback for the sustainable development in everywhere for the whole world as such. But in case of India, we have the same problem. The absence of vaccine during the first year of the onslaught new virus has forced the countries to impose the lockdowns. Because of the lockdowns, many of the countries, they face this particular economic hardship as such. And other measures to arrest the spread of the. Here we have chosen in between lives and livelihood. This particular thing is that we want to save the lives, but the livelihood has been affected, and this is we are talking about the sustainable development goals as such. First time since the adoption of the sustainable goals, the global average of sustainable development index for India in 2020 it has been decreased. In 2019 it was 117, and 2020 it has increased to decreased to 120, and that is what the case is, that the COVID-19 pandemic has had impact on all 17 sustainable goals, and has quickly it is on the human and socio-economic crisis also. It has become that particular situation. From this particular chart, we can have the glance on that how this particular COVID-19 has affected on all the goals as such. On the first goal, that is no poverty, loss of income. On the second, zero hunger, the food production has been affected. On the third, good health and well-being, the devastating effect on the health outcomes. That is the fourth, quality education, all schools has been closed, and that is the reason why it is affected. Then fifth one, the gender equity, women's has the more risk in this lockdown as such. Then sixth one, clean water and the sanitization supply has been disturbed in this particular case. Then in case of seven, the affordable and clean energy, here supply and personal shortage has been led to this. Then eighth one, decent work and the economic growth, economic activities has been suspended, because of that it has been affected. Then 11th one, population living in the slums has faced this particular problem, that is sustainable cities and the community as such. Then in case of 13, it is reduce the commitment to the climatic action, and in case of the 16, conflict prevent the effectiveness, and 17 it has been with regard to this. Okay, these are the all affected. But India, when it comes to India, India contributes 8% of the global GDP and holding the key achievements in the global sustainable development goals that I have mentioned. The country is currently responsible for 20% global gap for the 10 sustainable goals. This is the worrisome fact, and 10% of the global gap for the another 6 sustainable goals. And this is what the problem, because of this COVID-19 we have this particular problem. Then COVID-19 has worsened the situation, abruptly disturbing the implementation plans toward the many sustainable goals. We had taking momentum because of the COVID-19, it has taken a back, and in some cases turned back the decades of the progress. We had made a remarkable progress on one or two sustainable goals, but because of the pandemic it has thrown us back again to the decades back program. Because of the lockdown impacted the economic activities, resulting to the contradiction of the economy and sustainable quarters. Then pandemic put pressure on health, education and livelihood system, and apart from that, travel, tourism, hospitality faced the unprecedented job losses. This is what the problem we have. Then we will go by one, what are the impact happened on the each goals as such. Here the sustainable goal 1, that is no poverty, that is what the goal. Here in India, because of the halt in the economic activities, the vulnerable and the poorest poor hit hard, and this has led to the significant reduction in the income. This is what especially the informal sector has suffered a lot due to the lockdown and as such. That is the reason why on the front of the poverty we are suffering. In case of the zero hunger, that is a sustainable goal 2. A closure added to the hunger banks for the children, especially in urban and rural slums. Especially this has been a major concern for the hunger as such. Because of the lockdown, we are not able to get the things. Many people, they try to supply the foods, but most of them has been not reached to the people, those who are in the remote and slum areas. That is Sustainable Development Goal 3, the good health and well-being. Here, the understaffing and the incapability provide the sufficient beds. We know that how much havoc has been happened with regard to this particular situation. We are experienced and also experiencing now. With regard to the fourth goal, that is quality education, all school and colleges has been closed, and especially the socially disadvantaged sections. We have gone for the online teaching because this online teaching has the problem in the rural area, network problem, and smartphone problem in the rural area especially, and that is it has not held the expected result as such. Then fifth goal, that is gender equality, the shrinking of economic capacity and unequal access to the technology, especially the women. Because of the lockdown, they had more pressure in the household chores, and they suffered a lot in this particular lockdown period as such. And that is what gender equity has affected because of the COVID-19. Then sixth one, clean water and sanitation. Here, in the case of India, till today, 82% of the rural household, they don't have the access to the piped running waters, and because they have to walk 3 to 4 miles to fetch the drinking water, and because of that, because of this lockdown, it has been affected to the maximum core. Then seventh one, affordable and clean energy. Here, 1 out of 7 people are still deprived from the modern energy, and burning fossil fuel is the order of the day. Here, India is making third largest carbon emitter in the world, and that speaks about the affordable and clean energy sustainable development goal. Then eighth development goal is that decent work and economic growth. Here, because of the migrant, they are coming back to the villages and they are working in the agriculture, but agriculture is not capable to absorb all the migrant laborers, and it has led to the problem, and unemployment has been increased to 9.1 as such. Then with regard to the ninth SDG, industry, innovation and infrastructure, because of the lockdown, the entire spectrum of industry relies on the human capital, and because of lockdown, no human capital goes to the industry as such, and because of it has been affected to the core. Then 10th sustainable goal, reduce the inequalities, highlighted that growing inequalities in health, finance and inclusion, and the access to the food and justice, it has been increased, and because of that, we are not able to achieve more on this particular part also. Then 11th goal, that is sustainable cities and communities. Here, exerting the pressure on the cities, especially on the delivering the healthcare, education, and the safety, and that is the problem. And we found that most of the cases, COVID cases, in the city area rather than the rural areas, and because of that, that cities are also having the pressure, and this is not able to achieve. Then the 12th one, responsible consumption and production. Because of the lockdown, we are not able to consume more of the oil and other things. Medical waste is going to be filled in the landfills and the water bodies. It is also creating the problem for us. Then 13th one, climate action, carbon emission fall. Here, this particular area, we have done well. Carbon emission fall to the 8%. First time in the 4 decades, we are able to achieve this. And aerosol levels to 20 years low. Here, in Sustainable Development 13, we have done well because of the lockdown. Then 14, life below the water. Here, the less pressure on the marine biodiversity, it has done to some extent well. But because of the huge check of the biochemical waste, it is also affected. Then 15th goal, life on the land. Here, the green recovery in the forest has been improved, but it has affected the lives of the forest dwellers, those who depends upon the forest timber and other things. In case of the Sustainable Development 16, peace, justice, and strong institutional here, because of the pandemic, justice system has been grinding in the heart, and with no easy bails and delayed justice. Because of this, we are not able to achieve more on this part also. Then the 17th one, the strong partnership. In this particular case, the world has become one because of the COVID-19, and each one is helping each other. Here, the intrinsic problem is the resource mobilization. Because of that resource mobilization is another problem. We are able to generate some resources for the COVID-19, but to achieve the sustainable development, we need more funds to have the achievement of the sustainable development goals. Then in the impact of COVID-19 on businesses in India. Here, positive and negative impacts. In case of 5, 8, and the 12 Sustainable Development Goal, we have the positive impact in case of business. Here, increased innovation, digitalization, focus on self-reliance, reduce the resource bill, then focus on the businesses and reliance of the infra investment. But there are negatives, negative impact on the business also. That is in case of the goal 1, 5, 8, 9, and 10. GDP contraction, reduction in the infra spending, shutdown of the businesses, failing exports, income losses, rising inequality, rising unemployment, and the reduction in the consumer demand. These are the effect on the business because and the sustainability as such. Then in case of the COVID-19 impact on the society and sustainable development goal, it has a positive business impact on the almost 7 sustainable goals. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 11, and 16. Positives are focus on the social safety nets, focus on the public health, focus on the edtech, reduce the resource bill, then focus on the affordable living, reduce the overall crime rates. That is the positive things. There are negatives also. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and the 15. These are the area where rise in poverty, unemployment, diminishes food security, increase the malnourishment, disturbance in the essential health services, then disturbance in the education, then increased domestic violence, rising inequality, and social displacement. These are the impact on the social, positive and negative, 50-50 we can say. Then with case of the environment, environment has a better impact, positive impact. 7, 12, 13, and 15 sustainable goal has the positive impact in the form of reduced energy consumption, increase the share of renewable energy, then reduce the resource intensity, reduce the emissions, then improved air quality, focus on the climate change, and the improved biodiversity. There are some negatives also, that is 6, 12, 14, and 15. Increased water footprint, increased waste generation, increased marine pollution, increased poaching, and illegal deforestation are the negative impacts on the environment as such. These are the progress made so far. This data has been mentioned by Indurvade sir. I'm not going into the details of it. Here you can just see them. I'm not going to mention details because of the paucity of time. I mean, you can say the data. That 18 it was 54, and 19 it is 50. For 18, 2048, and 19 it is 35. It is declining. Again, in case of the third goal, 18 it was 52, 19 it is 61. It is a stable one. Then in case of fourth goal, 18 and 19 remains the same, stable one. Then in case of fifth goal, 18 it was 36, and 19 it was 42. That is gender equity. Again, it is declining. Then in case of the 6, 18 it was 63, 19 it is 88. It has improved. Then 2018 it was, in case of 7th, 2018 it was 51, and 19 it was 17. It has improved. Affordable and clean energy. And 8th one, 18 it was 65, and 19 it is 64. Again, it is declining. In case of 9th, 44 in 2018, and 65 in 2019. Again, there is a change here. Then again also 10th and all the things like that. Okay, here we don't have the data available for the 12, 13, 14, and 17. But in case of 15 and 16, we have the a bit improvement in the 16, and in case of the 15 also it has been affected due to the COVID-19. Here in 2021, Sustainable Development Trends in 2021. In case of no poverty, we have just marginally improved on it, but there are some data which says that we have not done so much on this. In case of zero hunger, it is a stable one. On we can say that stagnancy. In case of third, that is good health and well-being, it is improving over a period of time. Then quality of education, it is declining. In case of gender equality, it is stable. In case of clean water and sanitation, we have done better. That is improving. Then affordable and clean energy, it is improving. Then decent work and economic growth, it is a bit okay. We can say that on moderately improving. Then 9th, moderately improving. Then 10th, we don't have the data. 10th and 12th, we don't have the data. Then 11th, this is a stagnant one. 13th, climate actions, we have improved. On 14th, it is moderately increasing. And 15th, life on land, it has declining because of the lockdown. The 16th, peace, justice, and it is a stable. And partnership front, it is a stable one, we can say. But with regard to the terms-wise impact on this short term, medium terms, and the long term, a short-term impact is that economic finance demand shock threatens the firms, job losses, income fall, public and private services has been reduced the activities. Which are the SDGs has been impacted? That is industry, health, hunger, gender, and equality. That is 9, 3, 2, and 5. In case of the medium-term impact of the SDG on India, that is supporting demand during the reopening phase, that is firm bankruptcy, income lagging from the reduced economic activity, risk for the most vulnerable situation. Here, poverty, education, jobs, inequalities, responsible consumption, that is 1, 4, 8, 10, and 12. The SDG has been affected in the medium term also. In long term, that is investment in the building back the better. Here, the high debt levels prevent the new investment. Depressed demand leads to the permanently lower growth of all sectors. Here, the affected SDGs are more in long term. That is infrastructure, energy, water, climate, sustainable cities, biodiversity, governance. Here 9, 11, 7, 6, 13, 11, 14, 16, and 15. These are the sustainable goal affected in the long run also. We need more time to achieve them. Here, what are the major challenges the India is going to face to attain this particular goals? First one is that defining the indicators. There are 308 indicators which has been adopted in achieving this particular 17 goals, but they are not properly defined. That is what some reports are going to say, and that is what we have to rework on this particular defining the indicators. That is a major challenge for the India. Then financing of sustainable development goals. Financing the COVID-19 itself, we are finding difficulty. Now we have to financing the sustainable development goals. We have to ask the private sector to invest more, especially in the infrastructure, food security, climate change, and mitigation sectors. Financing also going to be a problem. Then monitoring and the ownership. Niti Aayog has been given the task of handling this particular sustainable development goals, but we need to monitor it and ownership has to be taken by the both state and central government, and then it has to be going to be good job one. But right now we have this particular problem as such, and that is a challenge right now. Then measuring the progress. Especially in India, we do have the problem of the data availability, periodic issues, and the incomplete coverage of the administrative data. And because of these are the major challenges we are facing to achieve this particular sustainable development goals in coming future. Then what is that way out? Guiding principles of the policy generator. Here it can be divided into three parts: impact, coordination mechanism, vision, and leadership. In case of the impact, we have the monitoring and reporting, the informed decision making, and adjust the policies in the light of the potential negative impacts. In case of the policy impacts, we have systematically considered all the effects of the policy on the people well-being here and now and elsewhere and the later also. In case of coordination mechanism, stakeholders engagement. Engage all the relevant actors to identify the challenges, set priorities, align the actions, and mobilize the resources. In case of the substantial engagement, subnational engagement, align the priorities and promote the coordinated action at the different level of the government. And whole of the government coordination between the state, central, state, and the local government, resolve the divergence between the policies, including between the domestic and external policies. With regard to the vision and leaderships are concerned, political commitment, mobilize the whole of the government action and orient policy development towards the sustainable development goal. In case of the long-term vision, support the present needs and those of the future generation and has to be balanced. In case of the policy integration, capitalize on the synergies and the address the trade-offs between the economic, social, and environmental policy area. These are the policy guidelines to achieve the things. Now, last part is the conclusion. The focus must be on the addressing the underlying factors through sustainable development goals. Now we are facing the problem of the COVID-19, but here the factors, there are many factors involved in it, and they can be achieved the sustainable development goals when we have to focus on them also. Then coexistence of the biodiversity conservation and the development of human society by meeting with the various equity needs. We have to have the coordination between the biodiversity and the human development. Both has to go hand in hand. Develop the effective methods for the implementing, monitoring, and measuring of the progress of the sustainable development. In India, we have to have this particular method has to be implemented properly so that we can have the better results of the sustainable development goals. The renewed focus on green, tech smart, and the ample financing avenues from both public and private channel is needed for the systematic recovery of this particular COVID-19 impact on this. On whole, we can say that COVID-19 has affected to the core on the achievement of the sustainable development goals in India in particular and world in the general. Okay. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you, sir. I thank organizers for giving me the opportunity also. Thank you, sir. You can proceed.
Thank you, sir. Bilas, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For your excellent presentation. All the issues, how the COVID-19 has been adversely affecting the whole scenario of sustainable development goals. From Indian context, you have very elaborately and very in a very well manner, you have explained all the things, what is going on, and how the policy initiatives have to be developed for solving all the problems. You have very nicely explained. Thank you very much for a nice presentation. You also explained how lives and livelihoods have been adversely affected due to COVID-19 pandemic. You have nicely explained all the things, how the developing countries, including India, have been suffering a lot due to COVID-19 pandemic, and how India has to revive through the Niti Aayog and policymaking authorities for reviving the situation of COVID-19. And we have to attain the long-term goals like sustainable development goals. Very informative presentation, sir. Nice presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you.
all these speakers, they have nicely presented in 3 issues. The first speaker, our Indruware sir, he has very nicely explained the issues regarding the sustainable development goals and how the goals are getting in its concrete manner, and in numerical terms also how the goals have been coming to the reality, from goals to reality, he has explained. Then Madam Nadam has explained the context of Europe and the developed countries, how they are affecting the sustainable development goals and how to get the positive results through the technological development, artificial intelligence, and all these issues of modern technology. And lastly, Bilas sir, he has explained nicely in the PowerPoint presentation, through the slides, nearly 30 slides, he has explained all the things, what is happening, and in a very limited time, he has explained all these things, all these pros and cons of SDGs, and what are the realities and what are our problems that we are facing. All these things you have nicely explained. Thank you very much, sir. Now we have the question answer session. If you have some questions, respected participants, if you have some questions, please ask your question, unmute your audio and ask your question, or you can just send your question to the chat box. Thank you very much. We can take some questions, at least very few questions we can take. Please ask your question. And then I'll request our Professor Bulbul, technical, our team from technical team, to send the feedback link to the participants. Please, if you have any question, please ask the questions. Our experts are ready to give the answers of the question. I have not seen any question, but may I ask one question to Madam Nada?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, madam, I want to know, at this time of digitalization and the time of period of artificial intelligence and all these technical issues, uh, these are coming more and more popular at this time of COVID-19 period. And was it really necessary for making the goals fulfilled of the world sustainable development goals, or these are the natural occurrence for the sake of development?
Yes, I think that technology rapidly grow. I have some data about that because it is to 2025. The plan is to reach more than 350 billions investments in technology. Uh, yes, our students learn much better because in traditional school or there were only books, handbooks, and that is the main material for learning. But with technology, they have opportunities to have virtual tutors, video lessons, conference, and I mean that the connection between students and the people is more better than before the technology wasn't growing. So technology has is very important all in every SDG goal. Because today, if there is no technology, Nada couldn't be here, couldn't be a speaker, couldn't tell her views, her opinions, her conclusions. But also, we must be very careful with it, especially our students, because there are many problems. I mean, data protection. When you are on social medias, you are getting many digital footprints. At one time you something put, it is always there. And for SDG, like example for climate action, there is technology rapidly grow. There are you can make your own carbon footprint, and the problems we can solve in connection with technology. It helps a lot.
Much. Thank you for your answer in this question. If anyone wants to ask question, please ask. Our
Sir, Pavitra,
resource persons are present.
excuse me, sir. Pavitra ST has raised her hand.
Yeah,
Just
please, sir. Pavitra, sir, please.
Pavitra ST has raised her hand. You can ask her to ask the question.
There may be some question in chat box also, Budhan. You may
Sir,
check it.
I have checked the chat box. Only one
Hello.
comment from Dr. Gajendran is there. Artificial
Hello.
intelligence. Yes.
So myself,
Yeah, sir.
Dr. Ramappa, K.R. Bellad Arts and Commerce College, Mundargi, from Karnataka. Now question goes to Madam. In future days, how to protect the environment for the maintenance to the sustainable development?
Madam, this question to you.
Is it for me or?
Yeah, to you, madam.
Please, can you repeat? I didn't
Please, sir,
understand.
repeat your question once again.
Yes, sir. My question is, in the future days, how to protect the environment for the proper maintenance of the sustainable development.
Proper
How to,
maintenance. Yeah.
how to
Proper.
protect it?
Yeah.
There are many ways to protect. First, we must start by ourselves. That is first. Another, you see that there are many global actions, climate action projects. We must make our students more educated, more involved. Somebody would say we must plant many trees, but that is one option. We must take care about every SDG goal. So for everyone, there are many options. So if we talk about no poverty, we must act there. We must make more humanitarian and voluntary actions, and for every goal we can make many ways to act.
Thank you, madam.
Today,
Thank you,
I
madam.
want to say today is a big international day of our skills. So, happy International Day of our skills. So, Mr. Ramappa Yangan Vari, if you
Yes.
want to protect our earth,
Yes.
or our children, or our life beyond the water, all of us must act and do actions.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Uh, I think there is no other questions.
Hello.
And also,
Yes.
we all here are professors, teachers, assistants, and all. We must make more and more researches.
Right.
So
Hello, ma'am.
how can we
Yeah.
solve some
Raz,
problems
please
if
speak
we
your
don't
question.
make a research?
Okay, my question to Radkovic madam is a lot of European countries have resorted to renewable energy, like we're harnessing wind energy in the recent years. I want to know from you if any such project is currently being operated at your country.
Yes, in my country, there are, I said at the beginning, more of the investments are going in renewable energy. We have many I think, wind, electronic, how to say? I need a word to say. By wind, we are now by the wind, we are doing that. We have a lot of water, and we don't have a problem with energy. And I don't know how to say. Just a minute. I don't know that term. I think that we have many windmills. Okay.
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 But
Thank you, madam.
but if you want, I can make a little research about that. I can you can send me your email, and I will answer you when I knew for some of that projects.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam, for your answer of these questions. Thank you very much. Now we are going to the last part of our webinar, that is the vote of thanks. And I request our technical from technical team, Professor Bulbul, to send the feedback link so that the participants can, yeah, thank you very much. Already the feedback link is there. May I request Head of the Department Economics, Professor Parag Jyoti Mahanta, sir, for the vote of thanks of this webinar, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saikia. It is my great privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this great occasion. That is on this international webinar on the topic Sustainable Development Goals and Beyond, Development Approach in Developing Countries during COVID-8 period. So, taking this opportunity, I, on behalf of the Department of Economics as well as Morigaon College family, would like to offer our vote of thanks to all the distinguished speakers in this international webinar. Particularly, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Professor B.P. Chandramohan, General Secretary, Indian Economic Association and former Professor of prestigious Presidency College, Chennai, for his delightful inaugural speech. So thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring speech. And I also wish to express our sincere gratitude to Professor S.H. Indira of Nagpur University for his valuable analysis on this particular topic, Sustainable Development Goals. And we would also acknowledge our sincere thanks to Professor Nara Retkovic of Croatia for exposing her delightful and brilliant thoughts regarding this particular topic, Sustainable Development Goals and developing countries, for her very delightful and valuable speech and analysis, particularly in the context of Croatia and some other developing countries in the world. So thank you very much, madam. We are also very grateful to Professor V.M. Kedrolkar for his beautiful analysis and presentation. Professor V.M. Kedrolkar of Tumkur University, Karnataka, for his very delightful and valuable analysis and presentation. So thank you very much, sir, for your very enlightened speech.
Thank you, sir.
And we must be grateful to Professor Jugen Chandra Kolita, President Governing Body Morigaon College and Professor in Charge of International Relations Office, Guwahati University, for his enormous cooperation and inspiration. So, Professor Kolita, sir, he is always among us, and we must be grateful to you, sir, for your sincere cooperation and your sincere inspiration to us to organize this particular webinar. And lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to Dr. L.K. Borthakur of Morigaon College, Principal Morigaon College, for his kind cooperation and sincere inspiration to organize this webinar. Also, we are thankful to Dr. Hemlata Sharma, Vice Principal of Morigaon College, and we must be thankful to Bulbul Das. Our technical arrangement is made by Bulbul Das, so we must be thankful to him also. And last but not the least, actually, we must be thankful to, and we would like to offer our heartful thanks and vote of thanks to all the participants and honorable faculty members of this particular webinar. So that's all from the desk of vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mohanta sir. We also offer thanks to our IQC coordinator is there, Professor Ranjit Kolita sir is there. Thank you very much for your kind cooperation. Thank you very much. Really, it is an excellent session. As organizer, it is not justified to say excellent, but we expect, though our present participants numbers not more than 120 in online, but our videos will be recorded and it will be kept and it will be given in YouTube. But I think at this time of crisis, and it is the daytime in India, and at this time of busy engagement of lockdown and all this time, all the people are busy right now, but yet this much of number is not an ordinary thing. It is 120 we got today, and along with some device, some other people are also joining. Therefore, from that point of view, our participation is not bad. It is good one. Thank you very much, all the participants and participants coming from the various parts of our country and abroad also. Therefore, for that situation also gives our webinar a successful one. Thank you very much. Without your kind cooperation, it would not have been possible for us to organize such type of venture. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Principal Sir. Thank you. And from the Department of Economics, we offer thanks to you, everyone. Thank you.